is where the magic is going to happen.
Yeah, don't look at our faces. Look at the screen, please.
Even though we are very pretty.
I feel like I'm just getting prettier with age. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
With a fun line. Like everyone told you that as you get older, you're gonna get uglier. But I feel like I get older, I get more and more like young Denzel. Like the older I get, the younger
young Denzel.
Yeah, the more I look like young Denzel. Yeah. So I love it.
Man. All right, so traditional intro to any kind of video or podcast. I'm Nathaniel Osollo. This is a video podcast that is yet to be named. I'm joined by the one and only Jared Sams, aka @spaceman_Jared. My handle is just above him there. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Jared. What's Jared's elevator pitch for Jared?
Oh shit, I'm bad at elevator pitches. Okay. Good start. Jared Sams is a mix between I'm a artist, writer, LA based weirdo. I've been doing it for a little bit now. This is going terribly.
You're good. You're doing great.
Okay. How about this? I've been really busy lately, like the last couple, year or so, just been doing projects. Like I got like a kids book, which is weird because like when I started doing comics, I did a lot of mini, that's how we met, doing like, like the kind of the mini comic, indie comic circuit. And, most of my comics, when you knew me, when we were kind of hanging out and doing some conventions, it was all my comics had like racial epithets in them. You know what I mean? So now they let me draw kids. They let me draw comic books for children, which is crazy to me, but it's really awesome. It's cool. So yeah, I'm an artist, cartoonist, LA based, love music, hip hop, punk rock, and all that nerd shit. Can we cuss here?
Absolutely, sure. It's gonna go on YouTube, so.
All right, cool. I mean, I don't think you can put anything on YouTube unless you use cuss words and actual racial epithets. Like I gotta like drop some hot conspiracy theories for you.
Good, please.
About COVID and about the Jews. So that'll come later.
Oh my God. All right, cool. So you and I met, I want to say at the very first Zine Fest at the last bookstore in LA.
Oh shit! That was my first. Convention. I just got a Facebook thing, in January, saying, "Hey, it's been 10 years, since you've done this." So yeah, that's totally what it was. Yeah.
And like, how old did you feel when you saw that? Because I've been feeling it lately. It's just like the whole being at home and everything, and just like not doing anything. It's really taking its toll.
It's it's been so long that I'm gonna draw something. I'm sorry, I'm just like trying to figure out what there's a thing that I like to. There's a monster in Star Wars that I like. I just can't remember the name of it.
The one from the Ice Planet.
No, it's the like the slug looking one, the worm looking one.
Jabba the Hutt.
No, the one from Empire when they were in the asteroid belt, the asteroid field.
Oh, yeah, that guy. He's totally got a name. I don't know it. I'm not that deep. I should be. My family would have you believe that I know everything, but no, I don't know what that's called. So for anyone watching, we have decided to draw something Star Wars based. Could be anything from Star Wars, and we're just gonna draw and see what happens. And we're drawing on the same canvas, just to create some context here. Jared was very kind to jump on this video call with me to just draw something to make a video together, just hang out and be relaxed and make it feel hopefully like a after school art club or something while we doodle. And we're going to be doing something from the Star Wars universe. No pressure on quality or what it looks like or anything. This is all also to promote different things that we're working on. Jared's going to talk about his book here in a second, and I'm going to mention that I don't have the page up yet. It's about halfway done, under construction, but a new Kickstarter coming out for my next comic book based on my character Dark Mouse. So if anyone's watching this, you probably know me. There's gonna be like, I'm not gonna put bad juju out into the universe. There's gonna be 1,000 views on this video, and none of these people, or very few of these people, will know what Dark Mouse is. But it's basically, if you've never read Dark Mouse is Sin City but with mice. It's a gritty crime drama, and it's gonna knock your socks off. So follow my Instagram. Put it up on the screen again. Oh wait, maybe I won't. Maybe I will. There we go. Follow Jared's Instagram. You're on Twitter too, right?
Yeah. This is more of an Instagram thing for me. I'm not the biggest Twitter guy. Just
Sure.
I should be, but that shit depresses me. That's how I survived. We're talking about the last couple of years. How I survived the last couple of years is staying the fuck away from Twitter.
Yeah. The doom scrolling. The doom scrolling is so real. It's nuts. Anyway, so that's what we're talking about, or that's what we're drawing here, and what we're talking about. And you're gonna draw the giant worm guy. I guess I'm just gonna draw Boba Fett, and it's not gonna be on model. It might end up being, you know what? I might just do a unique or custom Mandalorian style warrior character, so I don't feel pressured to get it right, so to speak.
No, I feel like you got to make it your own. You know what I mean? Whatever you do here, you gotta like, man, we've seen Boba Fett. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I just, at some point, now that I'm drawing, I'm just like, am I just drawing a dick?
That was fast. That was like each of these. Anytime I had this call with my buddy Evan Spears, who I'm sure will do this with me as well at some point, it devolves into that at some point. Just like, and there's like this online drawing group that I just got acquainted with called the Ink and Drink. I went to one of their like actual live in-person meetings before the pandemic, and it's basically people show, it's a drink and draw. Everybody shows up at a bar. The bar is nice enough to put out like butcher paper on the tables, and everybody just goes nuts on the tables. And since then, I don't know when they started, but I've been attending past couple of weeks. I missed yesterday, but those 2 weeks before that, it's the same crew of guys, and they're all using this platform, this website, Agi.io, and they all basically make a checkerboard, and everybody gets a square, and if they're feeling bold, they take 2 squares or 4 or whatever they're feeling like, and then everybody just makes a collaborative drawing there, and it looks like a bunch of separate drawings in one piece, because like, how are you going to get everybody to be on point unless you have a lot of prep? But it's fun to just get on there and hang out, instead of like, here you and I are using Zoom to talk and drawing on the website. They use Discord to talk and then draw on the website. But it's really interesting to see like how artists are. Yeah, you're right. It's got dick vibes all over it. It won't in a second. I know that, but right now. I know what.
Well, that does sound neat. So what is that through? How do you do that?
That is called Ink and Drink, and I don't know their Instagram handle by heart. There's some underscores in there. I want to say it's ink_and_drink_LB for Long Beach.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I'll send you the link after this, and we'll.
Am I impeding on your space? I'm sorry.
No. That's what this is about. I like drawing, collaborating with people and talking with people, and if we go over the lines of each other, that's fine. We will make this work. And the more you can, like, in my mind, the more you can like get the overlap happening, get the yin and yang happening, the more it's a successful collaboration piece. In my own personal opinion.
But yeah, when you email me about joining up with you over this, that was one of the things that we're talking about. The idea of like, it's like I said, it's been 2 years, like, about that, right? Like, I feel like maybe it was like May 2020 when like I was like, okay, no, this shit's serious, and I was like locked down. office clothes and all that stuff. So so I feel like, you know, like there's like I know there's like a time frame of when things become like habit. We have to be past that point, right?
Sure.
We've all developed pretty terrible fucking habits over the last 2 years, right? Just to survive effectively. I mean, I understand why shit.
What was that, me or is that you?
No, that was me. I used
Okay,
a big
okay.
bucket, but that did not go the way I wanted it to go.
See, like that, like just like that moment right there. I'm sorry to cut you off. That would never happen in real life if we were drawing on a real piece of paper. It doesn't mean it's any less fun or more fun, but it's like that's a unique experience, relative or that's only possible with this digital medium. Like if we were in a physical space and I dropped a bucket of black paint over a white piece of paper, then you know we'd be SOL. But like right now, oh man, just like art nerd shit over here. Anyways, I'm sorry. Habits. Go on.
No. I totally I love it, man. No, the future is now. Yeah, this art shit's weird. I can't remember what I was talking about. But yeah, we've all developed bad habits. So I'm trying my hardest as well to just trying to like ease myself back into the world, you know, you know, in a way that's like productive, where I could talk to people. Like, I haven't talked to you in like a very, very long time, at least 2 years, you know.
this will be our longest conversation ever. Like we've collaborated a little bit on, like, just to give everybody a little more context, we are probably when we first met each other, we were like work friends in a convention sense. So if you've never been to a convention, if you start going regularly, you will see, like, if you're an attendee, you will see other people that attend more and more often, and you'll become acquainted with them, make friends with them. And if you're somebody behind the tables like you and me, then you start seeing people that are behind the tables more often, and you realize, oh, these are the regulars, these are the people that come through, and this is the type of work that they do, and these people show up and bring you donuts. These people are always cool and always down to buy your book or like whatever. And like, oh, I always like buying this from this person because they have cool stuff. But yeah, at this point, I forget what I was going with this. I wanted to say that I would consider you a friend, and we got closer when you were working on a book, and you were working on your book, Space Negro, and then I did some fan art of it, and I was like, hey man, can I sell this as a print? And you were stoked about it, which was really, really flattering. And I was like, he's either gonna love this or hate it. And
love it. I framed it.
That's it.
I framed it. Look at that. Ah, so good. You know, and here's the thing. I marvel at this whenever I pass it in the crib. Is that like this? I mean, you did that. You did that when like Donald Glover was just on, like when he was just like Community, right? Like you didn't.
Go ahead.
I'll say you weren't really doing that. Like maybe he dropped like a rap album at one point, you know, like the old rap stuff where he was just like talking like a million words a second. He was on Community, but that was before he was Han Solo. Like I remember when I saw that he was cast as Han Solo, I was like, holy shit, Nathaniel fucking did it. Like he fucking called that shit, man. Like, yeah. I don't know.
Lando.
Lando, right. Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, I remember seeing that and finding out same thing, that he was Lando. I was like, that's crazy. But like I had the opposite perspective. I was like, Jared, like Jared like put this into the universe, because like I would have never thought to have drawn him as your character and then see him as a space character later on. It was a really cool like art mimicking life or vice versa kind of thing.
You know, honestly, it was like the precursor to what we're doing now, effectively. You know, just like two people coming together, making art together. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
There you go. I like it. All right. I think I have a base down for what I'm working on over here. And how many layers did I put in here? That's one thing with this is I'm not using this thing enough to really get super comfortable or where I should be with it. That's okay because we're just having fun.
Yeah, you know, I don't think I'll be using too much layers here.
Cool.
It's gonna go straight up Slug with it. I'm gonna try to find ways to make it not look like a a penis. You know what I mean? That's my goal here. But yeah, so the Kickstarter, have you started the process, or how's all this going?
It's going like I haven't launched it yet, but I'm like halfway through setting up the rewards and whatnot. So it's happening. I've finished the book. All the artwork is done. It's ready for the printer. You know how that goes. It's took me longer than I wanted. Like, life has been happening for everybody over the past 2 years like crazy, and no exception over here. And I finally got to a place in my life where I could like get to this and really sit down with it. Like, let's see. There was like I wanted to really have this book done like a few years ago, if I'm being honest. Just like stuff kept happening, and I'm finally at a point where I was able to really like hunker down and finish it and just be happy with it, be content that like, okay, cool, we're at a place where this can go out into the world. And I had wanted to do Kickstarter for a long time, so now I'm finally gonna do it. So yeah, as soon as that's ready, I've been teasing that I'm gonna release it in March or launch the Kickstarter page in March. So that will happen next month. As soon as I submit it, it gets approved and all that good stuff. And for anyone watching, I'm just drawing a random custom Mandalorian here. This is not Boba. This is not Mando. No, this is just some dude that I'm making up on the fly.
Looks sexy.
Hey, all right.
Oh, and by the way, just so you know, the name of this space dick slug is called Exogorth. I think that's what he's called.
Ah, it's on the tip of my tongue.
I was almost there.
Practically. Okay, Exogorth.
Exogorth.
All right. Hey, that's looking great, man. Very what's his name from Pinocchio? Very monstro.
Okay.
I'm into it.
No, that's cool. Like, even like, because like I always admired about, one of the things I always admired about you and the stuff you release is like you always tried to do, like, didn't you have like 3D stuff? Like you always like try different stuff, different techniques with your comics, with your art. You know what I mean? Like I was just trying my hardest just to finish a fucking comic book, just a normal ass comic book. But then I go to a show and you'd be like, oh yeah, I got some crazy shit here. I'm using technology right now.
Right. Yeah. So I would do augmented reality on my comics.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. So like I had I think at some point I was like, oh, I'm gonna do a Dark Mouse AR book, and then like that never materialized. But like what happened with those art projects, like how those came about was I was working on Dark Mouse and I had sketched a few like what you would call keyframe moments from like this big Dark Mouse story. I had made notes of like the scripts and what each of these like big action sequences would be, and then online at some point I saw that augmented reality existed, and somebody was using it in a comic book, and they like no coincidence, they were using it on their Kickstarter project. Or they were using Kickstarter to fund their augmented reality book. And if you follow Sutu eats flies or Sutu eats flies I don't know what it is, but I'll send you that afterwards, and I'll when I post this on YouTube, I'll post that as well. But he does some really amazing like virtual reality and AR stuff, like really around the world at this point. Like that guy's so far out there and successful with that stuff. It seems like I saw him doing it and I was like, oh well, I want to play with that toy. Very much a shiny object syndrome kind of thing. So I put Dark Mouse down, and then I started making AR artwork and made a book or a couple of comics called The Shadow People, or some variation on The Shadow People. And I don't want to say I got distracted, but I got distracted, but it was still like, it was fun art to make. And now I have that skill, and like I've made like, done other small things where like there's like a ton of people doing that stuff now. They make like AR filters, and I made a bringing it back to Star Wars. I made a Grogu a Yoda Instagram filter, which is like one of those ask a question and then gives you an answer. So it's kind of like I call it a magic 8-ball, but like with Baby Yoda. That was before we knew his name, and so like you ask him a yes or no question, and he gives you a snarky response.
Where do I find this at?
It's on my Instagram. Go to @iDraw and then look up the filters I have at the top of my page.
That's okay. I gotta check that out. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I don't understand technology. Like I use technology. Obviously, I'm using it now,
Sure.
but it befuddles me, man.
Good word. 10 points.
I'm constantly even I know like some people are like really good at making brushes for like digital art.
Oh
and
yeah.
Yeah. Do you do that? Is that a skill set you have? Okay.
Nope, that is not me. I took over the pandemic, I've taken a couple of art classes and I learned how to do it. I think I've made like 3 and they're not handy. Like my instructor, several of the instructors were like, here's all the brushes I use. And like, I'm just taking this. I'm using yours.
Yeah.
Like if I absolutely need one, like once I have that vocabulary down, I will build that out. But yeah, I'm trying to get to the point where I know how to do that and I make that my vocabulary. So I'll let you know when I get there. It's gonna happen.
All right. Like I said, I believe in you. I do not believe, much like my father, I do not believe in myself.
Oh man, that got dark.
Yeah, that stuff's hard, man.
Yeah, it's interesting. I want to make sure that we talk about your book. Let's talk about Black and Blue.
Yeah. It's
not to get too hard of a transition, but go for it.
I know, right? Yeah, no, it's we're having fun, and now we're gonna now I'm gonna bring down the mood. No, yeah. So I made I guess a young readers book. I'm not sure what you call it, like a younger, because it's like for middle grades in high school, right? So it's grades 6 to 12, it's in the height of 2020 when the world was on fire and everyone was like really like talking about doom scrolling before, right, where everyone was like really aware of things that are going on in the world, and and the George Floyd I guess you call it George Floyd murder happened. It was just a lot to process, you know what I mean, like it was just a lot to sort of like understand and like and because there was nothing else to do really, like I think a lot of people, including myself, there was nowhere else to go but to really think about it, right? There's no place to kind of like escape to, like, oh, I'm gonna go to the office and not think about it. It's like everyone was at home and they're like, I got nowhere else to go but it's just some uncomfortable corners of my psyche or my mind kind of thing. So I was like everyone else in that regard, but I was reached out to by a publisher called Light Switch Learning, and they wanted to make a thing. They wanted to make something that kind of commented on that moment, on the relationship between police and the Black community. I didn't think I was the right person for that job, but I thought about it, and I was like, you know what, maybe I am, because like I just have a weird kind of past, like I don't know. I am a very Black person, but I'm also I don't know, like I grew up in a Mexican neighborhood, went to white schools, you know what I mean? So it's like I've had the experience of like of talking to people. Like I've had the experience of people kind of like having their first conversation with a Black person with me. You know what I mean? And just understanding like there's all these things that like they're going on in their head that they think, and then they meet me, and a lot of that stuff gets thrown out the window because they're like, well, you're not like the rap songs, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you're not like what I was told. And,
you're not cool. You can't ball. So what the you know what I mean?
Okay, I like where you went first.
No, that's what it was. You know what I mean? Like, because I think there's something about like Black masculinity, which is like which is cool, you know, that it's like regarded as like this really awesome thing, but like when you're not that, you know what I mean? It's hard because it's like, because everyone's disappointed in you. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh man.
like everyone, like I remember in college, I would like, you know, because I had dreads. Well, I only had dreads because I couldn't afford a haircut, and my hair just grows this way. You know what I mean? So it's not like it's not like it was a statement. I wasn't trying to be like Bob Marley. I actually can't.
It wasn't on purpose.
It was on purpose. I can't even stand. I actually don't like reggae music, so don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone. That's between me and you. Secret.
You got it. You got it.
But in college, like, you know, people be like, I go to a party or whatever, people are like, hey, you bring weed? I'm just like, actually, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs. And it's just like, just seeing the disappointment on those white boys' face when I told them the first black guy they met with dreads comes to their party and he's just like, I don't do drugs. Like, it was just, so yeah. That's so I mean, like, so considering all that stuff, I wasn't sure if I was the right person for the job, but I don't know. I gave it a crack anyway, more than anything, just to kind of like try to process what it was that I actually, that's happened, right? So I was thinking, like, if I can find a way to like find some way to understand what happened, and what this world is that we live in, and the, I mean, challenge is one word, but maybe it's not as harsh enough of a word, especially since it keeps on happening. But to understand these tragedies, understand these like kind of wrongs, then maybe it'll help somebody else understand them too. And it's even cooler because, like I said, I'm used to writing and drawing stuff for adults. So doing it for kids, it made me kind of think about a little bit differently about, like, you can't be too complicated, or you know, you can't be too, there's so many factors that go into how these relationships and you know, stereotypes, and you know, like how all this stuff happens. There's so much data, there's so many facts, there's so many things that go into it, and you can get lost sometimes, you know. So having to gear it towards you know, a young audience made me kind of have to think about this in like a more raw way. And so yeah, I made this book. It's called Black and Blue. I'm gonna hold it up, I'm not even sure if people see it. It's called Black and Blue. It's yeah, man, it's about a young black kid who's like who's an NYPD officer. It's his first day on the job, the day that the George Floyd footage goes live, and he's kind of finding himself caught in between you know, his job as a police officer, and also his family, especially his brother, who's a Black Lives Matter activist, you know. And for him, you know, it's like his grandfather was like a soldier and a police officer. So like what I found what always gets me about these what do I even call them? Like, I want to say incidents, but I feel like that's whitewashing them. Like when cops murder black people, what always gets me about it is that, like, you know, even the most egregious ones, it's like my hero growing up was like Axel Foley. You know what I mean? Like you know, like it was other cops. Like I've seen every episode of every iteration of Law and Order, even the dumb English one where they're wearing like wigs and robes and stuff like that. Like you know, like police officers are like, they're in our heads. You know what I mean? They're like in our culture, and like we've learned to look up to them. And so when you see this stuff happen, it's for me at least, it was confusing and conflicting, because I'm just like, I thought cops were supposed to be on our side. I thought we we're supposed to like them, and now it looks like they're just killing people who look like me.
Sure.
So yeah. So I mean, so like I said, it was very. So I wanted to kind of release a book that was like the best compliment I got from the book, because what's cool is, like, I've been doing kind of press for it, which is weird to do press for a book. It's like, oh man, that's weird. But we've given it to, like, you know, activists, we've given it to police officers, and both are like really excited about it. You know what I mean? Because I think, yeah. And one of the, like, there's a lady in New York, she's a newscaster named Cheryl Wills. She's and she said that she's like a journalist, and she said that the book felt like journalism. She said it felt like a news story. You know what I mean? Like it did, which was really humbling, because that's kind of what I was going for, right? Like I didn't want to like come out here and just be like, you know, fuck the police. You know what I mean? Like that wasn't
sure.
And it, you know, and it wasn't like, you know, to be a shill for the police as well. It was to kind of tell a story that really kind of got to the humanity of it all, to really understand what was going on. And I like to think we did. I'm proud of it. Yeah, I'm proud of it. It's
Good.
we're just doing the job now, trying to get people to give a shit, which is a way harder job than actually making the book. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like making the book, I thought was tough, but just getting people to actually care about your book, oh my God, man.
Yeah. I'm dreading that with the Kickstarter. I'm just like, I'm gonna set this goal, and we don't make it to the finish line. That's kind of a quantifiable number, saying like you either did or didn't get people to care about you, get the thing you made, which is the way that sometimes artists think about any kind of creative person thinks about the stuff that they make, but it's not always the healthiest or productive way to do it either. So I want to give you kudos, man, to like working on a project like that, because that it's a hard thing to, number one, talk about. Thanks for talking about it. Thanks for sharing a little bit about your background as well and growing up. I think that it's hard to try and make work about that too. Like we can draw space people all the time, and it's maybe it's hard or maybe it's easy to make it align with any themes like that. But it's definitely a hard topic to talk about. We are taught to look up to police, or at least that would be my consensus as well, or my what's the word? My impression growing up is always like, oh yeah, look up to the police, they're stand-up guys.
Yeah.
At some point you realize, oh, they're human too, and they make mistakes, and some of them are dicks, and just like anybody, just like people anywhere, there are going to be people who are dicks and people who are try and do their best. You hope that most people are trying for that, and it's been a long and complicated conversation, and I hope we keep talking about it, because I feel like as naive as it might sound, that might be the only way we make progress, is to keep having the conversation.
I mean, and that's kind of like what we're trying to do. The book, it's like a conversation starter. You know what I mean? Like that's what's important for us, is to sort of like, yeah, just like a kid who read the book, she told me her criticism of the book was like she wanted to see how it ended. Like well, how does it end? Like how do they figure all this stuff out? And it's just like, I gotta tell a kid that it's just like there is no answer. Like that was a thing that like me and the publisher were trying to figure out, is like how do you end this, right? Because there is no end to it, like it's,
Sure.
Unfortunately, we're still in this, like, there was the young man recently, what's his name? I feel like I got to get his name.
Do it.
The no knock warrant guy in Minneapolis.
I know what you're talking about. I don't know his name off the top of my head either.
I feel like I got Amir Locke. There we go. Amir Locke, yeah, like like it just happens. Unfortunately, it just happens a lot, and it's still happening. And so, like, I want to be true to that. Like, I didn't want to be like, oh, hey, the cops learned their lesson and everyone's fine.
Right? Yeah, you can't. How? Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, it's like it's ongoing. You know what I mean? And and it's important to sort of try to present the story in a way that that is truthful, but also it's a story, so you also want it to be what's the word I'm looking for, compelling and engaging, but
throw some drama in there.
Throw some drama, but like no, I mean like what's I'm looking for, you want the story to be you want to get to the end of the book and feel like content, not content, but like you got a story, like that you told the yarn and there was payoffs and all that stuff. So I think we reached that point. But I mean, yeah, those bigger questions, it's a thing that like I often say, I don't get paid enough to figure that out. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
Like no, they're not paying me enough. I'm not smart enough either to have all those answers,
Right. Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Well, I didn't. Hopefully, I didn't put a lot of pressure on you. I really wanted to. It felt like we should talk about your book, so I wanted to talk about the book.
Oh yeah, no.
I don't mean to make you solve any societal problems right now. I don't know if we're gonna do that on a drawing podcast or video session.
Yeah, hey, look, man, I'm glad. Thanks for, like I said, part of the hustle is getting people to know about your book, to care about it, you know. So
yeah,
so I appreciate you letting me, you know, talk about it. You know, take it while we. I appreciate you letting me talk about racial justice while we draw silly cartoon characters.
Silly cartoon spaceman. Yeah, it's a spaceman and time travel and all the fun sci-fi escapism stuff, which kind of need sometimes.
It's so important, man. Like, especially, and it's, you know, it's one of those things where it's just like when I was going to college, you know, it's like I majored in like film, and so it was just kind of like, you know, there's always that.
Don't say it with that tone. Don't say it like all defeatist.
No, well, here's the thing, man. Like I didn't major in film. I majored in screenwriting, which is maybe the dumbest major ever.
Oh, man. I'll let you talk. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. You know why? Because like I realized getting out of school, like everyone's got an idea for a screenplay, you know, and they didn't spend $30,000 a year to get it. You know what I mean? So,
I hear you.
Or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's just like, so yeah, whatever. I'm go to school, kids. Don't listen to me. But but yeah, like, you know, but what I've learned over the years, especially over the last 2 years, is that, man, like escapism and being good at providing escapism, like that really is a skill set. You know what I mean? And like, and there's something about the way Americans escape. I don't know what it is, but we're just like really good at it, and people demand it. And you know, it's you know, they may, send jobs overseas and stuff like that, for like pretty much everything else. But I don't know, when it comes to art and when it comes to like, you know, expression and escapism, we're really good at it. It's like
Yeah, at the very least, we're sought after.
Yeah.
There's like a, I don't know if it's a theory, but there's like a thought in the back of my mind of like that part of that is due to the fact that like Hollywood is here, right? And like it's been here, and like it became this phenomenon of like California specifically, and like oh, like where do you want to make movies? Oh, you got to go to California, you got to go to Hollywood to make pictures,
right.
And like get into that. And like I don't know how much you're allowed to say about your job, but you said you're in TV. I don't think we've ever had the conversation of like, hey, what do you do for a 9 to 5?
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, I work in development. So like, you know, I grind. I was grinding for a while, you know, just doing, because like I worked in reality TV, right? And like
Okay.
no one, I mean, when I got into reality, it might be different now, but when I got into reality TV, no one worked in reality TV because they wanted to work in reality. They went there because, you know, it pays, and you know, get, you know, trying to make the next big, or direct the next big great American movie just wasn't happening. And so yeah, so like, you know, I just did a bunch of jobs and shows. I worked on a Marvel movie at one point. I forget that I was talking to my roommate the other day. We're talking about watching all the old Marvel movies.
Oh, nice.
And he was like, yeah, I forgot about the Hulk. I was like, I did too, and I worked on that movie. Like,
wow.
I worked on that movie, and I forgot about that movie as well. That's crazy.
Amazing.
But you know, so just grinding out there. So that was my job for a while. But yeah, maybe like more like 7 or 8 years ago, I got the opportunity to start working in development. So I work in development for like Universal Television. And so yeah, that's how I pay the bills. I get my health care. Is we try to come up with TV shows and all that good stuff. So it's fun. It's cool. I do a lot of art for them, and what do you call that? Yeah, I do a lot of art. I do a lot of like a lot of my skills drawing wise I've developed through that job, which has been just a godsend, you know, because like, you know, I'm not sure how it is with you, but for me, this stuff was like, it was, what am I trying to say? This stuff was, this is like, comics are my mini, you know, from drawing mini comics all the way to what I'm doing now. It's almost been like
stepping stone?
Like an education. Yeah, like,
Okay.
it's been my college, because I didn't go to school for that stuff. I had to kind of learn how to draw and, like, you know, tell stories via that medium. And
Were
so
you not drawing too much like before mini comics and stuff?
I mean, like, you know, I doodled, you know what I mean? Like it's a thing I enjoy doing, but like, you know, I never thought I'm not classically trained. And then like you get in your head of like, well, like there are people who are just like, who do this for a living. And to this day, I mean, whatever. I mean, to this day, I am that way. To this day, I'm just like, there are so many artists. I'm just like, God damn. Like, I will never be able to reach those goals. But you know, I mean, you know, at some point you just gotta kind of know where you fit in, and then just sort of like, you know, get better and be proud of what you do. But like, you know, you can't be concerned about what other people do, you know.
Right.
How about you? What's your did you go to art school? Are you like a trained artist?
Sure. I went to Cal State San Bernardino. I majored in art there, graduated with honors in painting. So like that just means I could paint really good at that time when I graduated. And like I can still paint decently, and like I've just been making comics as a side thing ever since. And like that's very much my story of like oh, I've always had like the regular 9 to 5. Not to say that like an art job isn't regular, but I've always had the 9 to 5 gig, and I always just make art on the side. And like in the past year or two, you know, like so many people have decided to make that be more deliberate about what I'm working on, and transition my life to not having art as the side gig, but having that as the full-time gig. So I'm not there yet, but hopefully this Kickstarter will be a part of that. It's gonna, now that I've finished that comic, I have more fresh and better stuff to put into my portfolio and start pitching that around and take that to different places. Because like right now, like I've been working, I tell people I work in real estate, and that's too vague and too general, because everyone's like, oh, you sell houses, you make millions of dollars. It's like, even if I did sell houses, that's not how that would work. Like I work for, like, the same way that drivers have driver's licenses and they have AAA, and AAA gives them kind of like extra stuff or different stuff than the DMV would. There are also real estate licenses, and real estate agents who have real estate licenses have associations, and I work for one of those associations. And so like this weird corner of real estate where like I help with real estate education classes. But I don't get to do like any drawing. I get to do a little bit of creative, like business management, which is cool because I didn't have those skills beforehand. Like in the past really 10 years, like I've had a couple of key mentors that I'm really glad I got a chance to work with them. And they've given me some like really core skills and just like organizing myself and kind of like focusing myself. Talk about like, you know, hearing about just, you know, another way to make art, and then just focusing on that and completely putting down the thing that you loved a second ago. So like now I know how to a little bit better how to align myself with what I want, set my sights on a goal and go for that. So hopefully I'm bringing that to fruition a little bit more. I'm liking your giant space worm, man. I'm digging the texture that's coming out on it.
Well, my space dick.
Yeah. I'm trying to get away from that. We keep going back to that, but sure. Your giant space dick.
Because now that I flesh colored it, now I'm just like,
Just go green with it. Go green and you'll be fine.
Oh yeah, you know, maybe I'll do that. But no, that's, yeah, what you're saying is cool, man. Yeah, it's so important. Like I wish I had a better grounding about like, just the world is so complicated, and I feel like there's so much I just don't understand about it. And like, I don't know, yeah, like understanding, I don't know, it's an important thing to sort of like, it's important to sort of like, oh my God, this is not great. What do I do?
Keep going, keep going. Don't stop. Don't stop. You're good.
I'm gonna go green.
Do you mind if I color your asteroids a little bit?
Yeah, please do. But
right.
yeah, no, I mean, like I said, yeah, I wish I had a better business understanding of just how the world works, especially something like real estate, just because I don't get it, and I feel like that's the thing that's gonna like. I still have this nightmare of me homeless. You know what I mean? Like you know, it's like you know, and just like it's like I don't care how hard you work or what you do, there's still that like, you know, you wake up in a cold sweat, just like, oh, I'm gonna be a homeless person when I'm like 60 something. Like I don't even know if I have like you know what I mean? Like
Yep.
Medicare or you know, whatever that old people got now. I don't know if we'll have that. Like, you know, there's a lot of fear.
I hear you. Yeah, for a lot of people, like they're living paycheck to paycheck. Wow, there's so many way more socioeconomic issues coming up in this conversation than I had anticipated. But yeah, like if there's a lot of people out there, if you miss one paycheck, then like, you know, like you're SOL, man. You ever see anyone like brushing their teeth out in the street? That there's a reason for that, unfortunately. And it's like, you know, that's not always a good gauge of somebody's like character or decisions. You know, sometimes shit just happens to people, and that's where you end up. And it's a bummer. And like, hopefully, you got somebody in your life that can help you out and give you like a helping hand at some point.
I saw a lady, because like, you know, obviously there's a lot of homeless encampments and stuff like that.
Sure.
You know, and you know, it's all over the country. You know, I mean, you know, but I saw a black lady on the streets of, I live in Van Nuys, California. So I saw a black lady on the streets of Van Nuys, California. Van Nuys, California is a pretty rough place. You know, not the roughest place, you know what I mean? I couldn't write a book about it, but you know, but you may want to get in after a certain point at night, you know?
Sure.
And man, like she was like covered in dirt. Like she was like, how do I say this? I can't say that. I'm gonna sound racist if I say that.
Okay, don't say.
She was just covered in dirt. Like she was like she was caught in the blast at like 9/11 or something like that.
Damn,
you know what I mean? Like she was just covered in dirt. And I'm like, I don't know why you're covered in dirt. And like, she obviously wasn't in her right mind, but I just didn't know. I didn't know what to do, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was just like, I don't know what to do. Like, do I? And COVID's weird because like now I feel weird about like, you know,
how do you approach people?
Yeah, like
even if you knew the thing to do at that moment, how do you approach that person?
It's it's weird. There's like I don't know. Yeah, that stuff affects us all. You know, I feel like it does. You know, obviously more to others than some, but it just does. Does work, does damage to you. You know what I mean? Like, and you don't even think about it really. You're not really like, you're not in your head like, oh man, like, you know, it's like what Stevie Wonder would say, it's like an ordinary pain. You know, it's just this thing you sort of like get used to, and it just becomes like this ordinary trauma that you deal with on a regular basis. I feel like that's in some ways that's kind of what the world is at times, but you know, that's why we're drawing.
That's why we're drawing space creatures. Oh man, this guy. I appreciate you going to these heavy topics with me, man. I don't know if that's me project. I feel like I have these conversations a lot with my wife, and like I'm just like, oh, she needs a break from me. Like I need to have these conversations with other people. Sorry to put this on you.
No, I feel like I put it on you.
Okay, cool.
We could. What are you watching? Let's do that.
Let's go TV.
What are you watching? What's happening? What do you got going on?
I just finished watching Book of Boba Fett. Saw all 3 of those series. We watched, what else am I watching? I'm in the middle of Rick and Morty season 5.
Oh yeah, cool.
to keep it space themed here. What else? What else do I really like? Oh, you know what I did that really satisfied my inner 13-year-old was I watched all of from beginning to end, and this is probably too much Bruce Timm, but I watched all of Batman the Animated Series. Then I watched all of the Superman animated series, both those from the early 90s, and then I watched all of Batman Beyond. And watching those three series, like now I need a break from like that visual, that style, but not like it was bad. It was just like it was a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, that was cool. Just like that second where you turned on the shadow, that was solid, man. I'm into it. But yeah, I'm gonna try and give my guy a little bit of shade to show off the flames, but also to align with your shadow and light source. What was I saying?
You're watching the Bruce Timm stuff.
Oh, the Bruce Timm stuff. Yeah, and it was really really interesting to see it, 30 years later, but also like just to see it and connect all the dots, because like when you're growing up watching that stuff, you're not able to always sit down every Saturday morning, or at least for us, like that's how we used to watch things. You had to be in front of the TV at a certain time on a certain day, and then just kind of hope that you woke up early enough, if you were able to watch those things. And you miss episodes, and like I was watching it through and like from front to back, and I was just like there are so many continued storylines between episodes that like I just never picked up on. Like I didn't realize, like I'm one of those people who didn't realize that if you haven't seen Batman Beyond 30 years later, spoiler alerts, but at some point Bruce Wayne dated Barbara Gordon, Batgirl.
Yeah.
What else? I feel like there were a number of like just mind blowers like that, especially in the Batman Beyond show. At some point, Ra's al Ghul takes over his daughter's mind and body, and like he lives on through her, which is evil. Like which is so evil. Like there are so many times watching those shows where like I would. This is our ritual is I would watch them during the day, and we're going over our time, and so I'm sorry, but I would watch them during the day, and then if I caught like a really good one, then I would tell my wife like, hey, like you got to have like 22 minutes later, we should watch this together, you're gonna enjoy it. And then like we would watch it, some awful thing would happen to like one of the characters that you cared about, and then I'd be like, and like she would react to the show, she would like out loud say, oh my god, and then I would say, yeah, this is a kids show, and that guy was just force fed a chemical to like in front of children on a Saturday morning. Like it's crazy what they did on that show. It was really good.
I love that shit, man. But I loved yeah, shit. Well, I guess we are over. I don't want to belabor it, but I love it. Like I feel like kids stuff is still like it's challenging in different ways now, right? Like when I watch stuff for kids nowadays, I feel like it's not so much that they don't do that kind of stuff, but I feel like the stuff they do is more emotionally mature than the stuff we're watching. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, and I think that's pretty cool. Like they don't go as like, yeah, no one's being fed like, chemicals. Like I remember one of my favorite episodes of the Batman, the original, the animated series was when the guy cut off the Joker and he'd spend his time just like making the guy's life, just stalking the guy and making his life hell.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That was an interesting episode because like he's basically a stalker and he's like harassing this person, making him go crazy. Yeah, it's very go on.
Like, that's a weird thing for a kid to have to process. Like, oh my god, like that's horror. It's horror. It was a very horrifying sort of story, and yeah. But I feel like maybe you wouldn't get that nowadays because it might be a little too triggering. But like again, like I feel like you watch something like Infinity Train or something like that, and it's just like I said, it's just more emotionally mature, right? Like the characters. Maybe they aren't tortured, but they're tortured maybe like more emotionally. Like they're put in situations where they have to really understand themselves and the world around them. And I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, yeah, 100% I agree with you there. That's not something we growing up saw a lot on our shows. And it's nice to like see that kind of growth in like the art of the world, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, I mean, like like you said, I think people get mad at like the world changing and think it's for the worst, but it's just like, nah, it's just different. You know what I mean? And like you don't
Right.
get it, maybe you don't understand it. But I think that's how time works, right? Like that's how the world works. Things change, and of course you like it better the way it was. Like I have a good buddy. We have this hip hop argument and conversation because he's really into like old hip hop, and he thinks the new hip hop is trash. I'm just like, yeah, you're right. I mean you are right. Like I don't like new hip hop either, but it's not that it's bad. It's just not for us. You know what I mean? Like it's just,
right.
Like there's a lot of people out there who like connect with that stuff. And so there's obviously something potent there. There's obviously art being done there. It's just, we just have different different
tastes.
yeah, which it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, not everything is for you. And so like once you realize that in life, you'll get along a lot better. And like I can remember times when I didn't remember or I didn't know that, but yeah, once you make that connection, you're just like, oh, okay, that's fine. I'll eat my favorite food over here, you'll eat yours over there, and everyone will be fine.
Yeah. It got me. My roommate's fiance. She's younger than us, and so like we'll be talking about movies and stuff like that, like Alien, and
Sure.
she's like, I don't know what that is. And at first, you get up, you're upset, like, how you never seen Alien? What's wrong with you? But now
I guess it was several decades before you were born.
Exactly. Yeah. So now at a point where I'm just like, we say a movie and she's like, I don't know what that is. I'm just like, yeah, okay. Why would you know what that is? Like, why would you? Like, yeah, you came out, you were like 20 years before. It was 20 years before you were born. Like, I'm trying to think of like movies that were like popular 20 years before I was born. And I'm pretty sure I didn't know about them when I was like, well, I might have because I was a film nerd, but I mean, you know what I mean? But like, who knows about like, okay, let me look. Okay, so I was born. I'm gonna tell you when I was born because I don't need you to know. I don't need
we're not that close. We got things that bond us. We're not that close. Go on.
We already brought down the conversation before. Let's not do it again by telling you how old Jared is. But
that's so funny.
20 years. Let's see. Most popular movies.
Give me a movie title.
Blank year. Okay. Well, okay. So the top 5 were The Longest Day. Okay, Lawrence of Arabia. All right. In Search of Castaways. What the fuck is that? And That Touch of Mink. Like I don't know any. I don't know what that movie is.
Are any of them musicals?
Maybe. Music Man, I know. Mutiny and the Bounty. Okay, To Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh Gypsy. Wow.
Yeah, I know, right?
Sorry.
Yeah, I know, right?
That was a terrible reaction. I'm sorry.
Oh my God. I wasn't born this year. This is 20 years before I was born. All right.
Oh shit.
20 years before I was born.
Okay, I'm on track now. Sorry about that.
Yeah, man. Black don't crack. Can you imagine if I was born?
In my head, I was like, wow, you are doing great, man. That's so funny.
I guess this is a bad example because like actually there's a lot of hot ass movies here that I'm like, oh no, those are classics. I've heard of all these movies.
Well, I mean, like the search is like what's most popular, so it's gonna be popular stuff. But like to your point, I had never seen what's the trilogy? Fistful of Dollars, For a Few Dollars More, and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Like those 3 Clint Eastwood westerns.
Yeah, the Sergio Leone stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I had never seen any of those movies until 2 weekends ago, and really like we missed the 3rd one, and then it's now off that streaming service. But I saw those first 2, and I was like, watching those. I remember my dad trying to get me to watch one of them, and he was like, "Hey, look at this," and I was like, I had to be like 8, 10 maybe. And like some things at that age you can show a kid and they'll like latch onto. Like I love Predator, and I've seen that movie hundreds of times in my life, and like I started watching it at that age for whatever reason. That one stuck with me. That one and all the Rambos from back then. But like any Westerns, couldn't sit down for it. Now, like I watch those, I was like, wow, these are some really interesting choices they were making at that time, making these films. Like the opening to the first one, to Fistful of Dollars, it's this red and white or red and black animation. It's really, really cool. It's like 30 seconds or a minute tops, and it's like some of the coolest horse running animation I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, wow, this is like amazing drawings that they were doing decades ago.
For the opening of a movie, for the opening of a movie. Like it wasn't like that was the movie. It was just like, oh yeah, we gotta open this flick somehow. So
right. Yeah, this is just the bumper. Like it's like nothing in that movie is animated except for that, and it's a interesting choice, and it looked really cool.
It's I mean, look at people should watch all those movies because they're all incredible. But I'm past the point of thinking that that the things that were vital when I was younger are going to stay vital forever, right? Like it's like, those things change, and
seasons of life. to put one spin on it.
This is dope. I love your Mandalorian.
Hey, thanks, man. I like your giant space worm.
Oh, it looks like a dick with an STD on it. That's what it looks like. It looks super gross, and I apologize for making this an X-rated stream.
I was I've planted my flag and I'm okay with it. I think it looks good, man. I think it makes sense visually. People will be able to put together what they're looking at, and it's really about the conversation we were having while we were drawing this.
That's true. That's true. So I think the composition is kind of cool already. Like I like how it's like, it's kind of come together already.
Yeah. It's a keyframe. There's a story here. We haven't written it, but there's a story here.
There's a story.
Right. We should sign it somewhere.
Let me pen at. Where do we do that at? Where's the best way to do that? I guess maybe in the corner.
I'm gonna hide mine on the figure. I don't know where, but I'll do that. That's the ink one.
Nope.
And this one. Oh, this is already. There we go. Well, we should probably talk about what links people should go to right here at the end, and then call it there.
Yeah.
Cool. So where do people find you on the internets, and what should they look out for from you?
Yeah, I do the Instagram thing. My Instagram is spaceman_Jared, at spaceman_Jared. I'm on Twitter too, but I really don't. I'm not on there as much. I'm mostly on the Insta. Like like I said, I got the Black and Blue, Light Switch Learning. Just trying to get people to dig the book. Is it possible to put a link to the how to purchase it in the video? Can I send that to you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, send it to me in the chat or in an email, and I'll once I upload this, I'll put in all the links. I'm gonna work on a bump. There's so much like behind the scenes stuff in this. I'm gonna put on work on some kind of animation or just a bumper title card for the beginning of this and one for the end. And send me any links you want people to go to. We'll put it either in the description or somehow connected to this.
Cool. Yeah. So I got the book coming out. I gotta get the link in, and the website place the place who hosted my website, the business went under. So
oh no.
Yeah. So I gotta rebuild the thing. So
does that mean you retain the URL, what is it?
Oh yeah,
domain name?
I still have the domain name. Domain name I bought somewhere else. So I just connected the domain name to the site, to like the website that hosted, Yeah,
Gotcha.
to the place that hosts them. So the domain name, but so yeah, spacemandead.com. That's my domain name. So I'm looking to rebuild that. And I got all the mini comics and all that stuff. I just post it up there for free because I just want people to read it at this point. But
Perfect.
keep an eye out for for a relaunch of that stuff. And of course at some point Space Negro, the last Negro, it will happen. It will happen, my friend.
Awesome. I look forward to all of that, and I'm gonna send you the link to the Ink and Drink in the Long Beach, and maybe you can tune in and doodle with me and a bunch of these guys that I'm getting to know. Cool. There was one other thing I wanted to say. Oh, man, I'm blanking on it. This is such a strong way to end a video show.
You gotta plug Dark Mouse and
yeah, of course. Dark Mouse. Tune in, follow at iDraw. Jared's handle is on the screen, my handle is on the screen. Follow my Instagram, look for updates on the Kickstarter. Tag your friends, share with everybody, smash that subscribe button. I feel so gross saying that.
I got a little sick. I got a little queasy just then.
Yeah, you gotta think of like other verbs to say with the button. Lambast that subscribe button.
Mollywop that subscribe button.
Mollywop. Whoa. Oh man, we're gonna end it there. That's cool. Or very corny. Either way, I think it's really cool. Cool. Yeah. Turn on post notifications. Look for us on Instagram. Be good to each other, guys, please. Thanks so much for doing this, man. I really appreciate it. And hopefully we get to connect again soon and hang out and talk about not so heavy stuff and heavy stuff if we need to.
Balance, man. Anytime.